Okay, you ready?
Did I do that?
No, I did it. What's going on, everybody? Here's Up In Depth. We are here. I don't know why I still have technical difficulties, but there's too many things going on, because you got to start the meeting and then you got to pause the meeting because I don't want to record the first part of this when Jeremy and I are just chatting and warming up a little bit, but then you forget to push play or forget to push record again. It's a whole thing. So, whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
We're back here, Ears Up Podcast in Depth. This is where we cover the news that really matters the most to Jeremy and myself. Mainly Jeremy. Jeremy combs through the news. Hi, Alice. You want to say hi to Jeremy real fast? Come on, hurry up. You interrupted the show. Come on, let's go. Get your
I can't see you.
Come on.
Hello. I don't see her.
Yeah, no, because I'm trying. It was very cute. I'm trying not to be annoyed because I thought that was a good intro, and I don't want to. Anyway, whatever. Let me get the vibe back, kid.
Yeah, after all that warming up we did.
Yeah, I know.
Alice
right?
just came in and threw a cold bucket of ice water at us.
And I told her she can come in and say hi to Jeremy.
Right.
She's like, cool. What are you
Yeah.
gonna do?
And she was like, "Oh, that Jeremy? No, no."
Yeah. Anyway, we're here pouring over the news and we're ready to get into it. Jeremy, I have 3 stories or so. I think you have about the same.
Yep.
I have some stuff about Disneyland Paris, and I have some videos of what's going on over there too.
Well, there's a lot going on over there.
Yeah, and I've, having never been, I thought maybe it might be fun for you to look at the videos and see something or other. I don't know.
Good, because I haven't dug into any of that news. I know I'm aware of what's going on. I have a surface level awareness of what's happening and some of that, probably what those videos are going to show, but I haven't read much. So I'm looking forward to learning.
Okay, that's fair. You know what I'm looking forward to? Tomorrow on the main show, which is by the time this is released, it'll have already happened. Terrence is coming back on the show to talk to us about his journey on the one of the Disney cruises.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, him and his family went on a Disney cruise back in April. All the way back in last month, right?
Yeah.
And so he's going to come and tell us about that, and that'll be a good time. I'm excited about it. It'll be good to get Terrence on the mic again and back on the show and figuring out what's going on.
Is he going to come and do it in person?
No, he lives really far away. He's almost like an hour away, so I wouldn't ask him that. I wouldn't ask that of him.
Fine.
You just rolled your eyes, though. Why? Why does it? What do you
Well,
care?
it's like a special one-off.
It is.
I think I think that there is a magic when everyone's in the studio.
There is, absolutely, 100%. But they weren't super excited to be driving out here anyways. So I feel like if the pandemic hadn't happened, this would have happened eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But why'd you have to move so far away? This is what I'm getting at.
Oh, it's my fault. Affordability. That's it, man. That's it. But I don't know, Jeremy, you want to go first? Should I go first?
I'll go first.
All right, you go first. Hit us with some of that news.
They tried to sell vacation packages for 2024, but Disney's technical problems just can't be ignored. Walt Disney World
and biting and it rhymes.
And all the things that need to happen in that opener, I did. Walt Disney World opened up reservations for 2024 vacations this morning via internet, telephone, and mobile app. But it wasn't long until when by 7:35 a.m., the official website for Walt Disney World was down, having been crashed by the traffic.
What is with these people, man? They can't keep technology rolling forward.
Like at this point, you have to be able to figure out an internet server. Like
Right.
it's not that difficult.
I'm waiting to find out how people are going to blame Bob Chapek for this.
Well, it was, what it is. It's a lack of investment in technological infrastructure. The go.com website for years, and now Bob inherited that.
Oh, man.
After the site came back up, guests started getting messages like, "Pardon the inconvenience. but room, package, and ticket bookings are currently paused online and over the phone. Bookings will resume as soon as possible. So the website crashed, but when it came back up, the company had paused all sales. And I think, I guess that means like they were afraid they had to get something worked out. I don't know. So sales of 2024 vacations were paused for 7 hours today. Disney's website is notorious for such crashes. You'll recall that a similar outage occurred last month when Walt Disney World, after years, reopened the sale of annual passes. So through the pandemic, they were only allowing you to renew them, but then they reopened them up to new sales again, and it crashed similarly. Their Run Disney website frequently succumbs to traffic, even though they've been running Disney races for the better part of 3 decades. So there are some reasons, though, that might explain why guest traffic could be increased. Why would they? It might have more than they expected for these 2024 reservations. Consider that in 2024, the park reservation system will be lifted, meaning if you want to go to a park, you can just pop up and show up. You don't have to do this whole plan it in advance. You get 5. Once you have 5, you got to put, it's just going to be an open free for all from what we understand. Also, the return of the Disney dining plan comes back in 2024. So possibly people trying to go on and sign up for that. That's additional added value for guests that's been missing since the pandemic. I personally am not a fan of the dining plan. I've done it a couple of times. I'm over that. Also next year, guests who purchase Disney Genie Plus will receive complimentary on-ride attraction photos, which are currently a separate upcharge. So there's a lot of value being thrown back into the let me hold on. There's some value being returned to guests next year. And we've talked about this here, Jason, where we've said they can't continue to charge more and offer less. And they've charged more, and they've taken a lot of these benefits away. And these are 3 things that you used to get that, okay, now they're returning. Well, reservations aren't something you used to get, but you know what I'm saying. They're Disney dining. These are values that are coming back. So it stands to reason the argument could be made that perhaps this was enough to entice folks who still have been sitting on the sidelines, holding back, waiting to finally pull the trigger and say, okay, you know what? Now that some of these other perks are back, let's go.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
It makes sense. It's plausible. I don't know that that's necessarily the reason. It's speculation. Some on Twitter do not believe that. I saw one tweet today that said that actually part of the reason why Disney telephone systems can't handle it is because it's not that there's so much more traffic. It's actually that Disney has reallocated a lot of those resources, and there's not so many people answering the phone.
That's sort of the way I feel about it. Anytime there's sort of an influx of customer service issues or things like that, it's because, I mean, just look on social media, they fired everybody. They cleared everybody out in the first stages of the pandemic, and and they haven't hired these people back, and Iger's ripping out 7,000 more, so it's
right.
I don't think there's people to do it.
It seems that way. I mean, that doesn't necessarily account for why the website would crash, but the website crashes anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if it is. I don't know. You would think at this point, it'd be like, all right, we need an overflow. If we're going to do something big like this, we need to allocate a couple more, AWS, pipelines or something like that.
I would think, but apparently that doesn't seem to be happening. And, they don't have a ton of money. So.
No, of course not. No, they're almost broke.
They aren't exactly having great quarterly results. So. Anyway, that's what happened today, but it seems everything's back up and running now. So if you want to book your 2024 Disney World vacation package and get some of these added value benefits, now's the time.
That sounds good. Let's see, Jeremy, let's do a little bit of video here. How about this, huh? Over in Tokyo Disney, apparently there was an earthquake, a 6.2 earthquake that struck eastern Japan on May 26th. The tremors rattled buildings in Tokyo and also affected the surrounding prefectures. Amid this, a video of tourists at Disneyland in the country taking cover is making the rounds on the internet. The video was shared by Jeffrey Hall on Twitter. The beginning of the video shows the feet of some people walking around the park. In a few seconds, an earthquake warning is heard on the speaker.
Mm.
Guests at Disneyland Tokyo are then forced to crouch near the theme park's sidewalks and huddle in the gift shop. You want to see this thing? Let's check this out.
Yeah, let's see it.
For me, it's the sound. The sound of this is wild.
Attention. Prepare for a strong earthquake. 地震が来ます。地震が来ます。強い揺れにご注意ください。Attention.
めっちゃでかくない？やば。
And that's basically it. So it's a bunch of people just crouching down. But here you can hear the background music now because it's quiet. So it's like this mixed with these people crouching, waiting for an earthquake to hit.
Right.
Sort of surreal to me. Everyone's crouching down. Yeah, I don't know. It's wild. I think it's wild.
I didn't think you could predict an earthquake. How do they know that? I thought they just strike.
They do, and I don't think it's an. I don't know. I have no idea how.
Is Japan operating with some other technology we don't know about?
I mean, it might be, man.
They're over there predicting them.
Yeah.
There was a video.
Yes.
Well, if you're maybe a little bit morbid, but there is a video out there on YouTube of Tokyo Disney Sea the day. Remember when the Fukushima Daiichi power plant there was that earthquake and all the chaos that ensued there.
Yeah.
There's video from that day of the earthquake striking Tokyo Disney Sea, and that was it's actually very similar to what you just showed, but you can see in the video, you see like the lamp posts and the speakers swinging because you could actually see the movement of the earthquake. It's fascinating to watch.
Yeah, stuff like that is wild, especially out here in California. I really empathize with a lot of this that happens around the world because I mean here it's just fast. We had that big 189 that was just collapsed freeways. It was wild, wild time to be out here.
Every time I leave California,
yeah,
because I visit pretty frequently, the minute it's wheels up, like the minute that plane is wheels up, I'm like, I survived. Like I missed it. Like there wasn't one while I was here.
It's like you're coming into battle every time.
I
go to the front lines of the earthquake
minute
wars.
The plane's wheels are off the tarmac, I'm like, whew. It can hit now. I'm gone.
Yeah, I feel that. Now my big thing is tsunamis. Like if we go to the coast or whatever, it's like, I don't want to go to the coast. This is tsunami. I don't want to do it. But apparently the reason people crouch is because crouching minimizes the risk of a potential injury from falling down because it's like almost impossible to walk in an earthquake like that.
Right.
So they just have you crouch down, which is something I've lived here my entire life. We have never had this kind of education. I'm learning this as a 45-year-old California native. I've never heard crouch if you're out in the open.
You needed to. That's not something I think people need to be taught.
I don't know. I did.
Like, isn't it obvious? Like,
no.
If the ground starts shaking, I go right to the ground. I have to crouch to the ground in wind. It's too. I can't walk. Your natural urge when the ground is moving, when anything that you're on is unsteady, is to get low.
Get low, get low, get low.
Like, have you ever been on one of those wooden swingy bridges?
Yeah, and I just walk.
You're not
over.
Up on your tiptoes. You go down.
No, I'm not on my tiptoes, but I'm on the flat of my feet. I'm trying to like stabilize myself.
No, you crawl. You crawl and you cry and help for rescue.
All right. Forgive me if I don't take your advice. Apparently, Japan counts for about 1/5 of the world's earthquakes of magnitude 6 or greater.
Jeez. So they know what to do there.
They know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But imagine being in Disneyland or Disney Park in general and hearing, prepare for a strong earthquake. And then everyone's crouching down. And you're like, what is going on? That would be very scary to me.
It would be scary yet soothing. If there's a disaster, the one place I want to be is Disney. I don't want to be out on my own. You look at hurricanes, people flock to Disney World because it is in the center of Florida, so it doesn't get impacted by hurricanes as strongly, but people
Yeah.
go there. They know how to deal with stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But, and I think hurricanes are different because you can see them coming. You know they're happening. You have time to prepare. Earthquakes are not that. I don't know. I still don't know how they have like an early warning system that apparently works. But yeah, earthquakes bother me a lot more.
I also would believe that the architecture or the buildings in Tokyo are probably, in Tokyo Disney specifically, are probably built to withstand that.
I would guess. I
at
mean,
least
look,
to some degree, better than
a 6.2 hit and nothing. There's no loss of life or damage or anything. So it's like, fine, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Jeez, and that's pretty strong, right? 6.2.
Yeah. Oh, that's super strong. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And out here we have homes that are built in the early 1920s and 30s and whatever, and it's like buildings that are older than that, and so you just never know anymore.
Yeah.
Which is why when they strike other places in the world, they don't have like strong building codes. You get blocks that just fall.
Yeah.
Because they're just not built very, very well, especially just in general, but especially for earthquakes.
Right.
Speaking of things that are cool and good and not bad and dumb like earthquakes, summer is right around the corner, and our friends at the 21st Amendment are celebrating the return of the warmer days with their popular and everyone's favorite seasonal beer, Hell or High Watermelon Wheat. The brewers at the 21st Amendment brew an American wheat beer with real watermelon juice, creating a refreshingly fruity and quenching beer, or what they affectionately call summer in a can. Hell or High Watermelon Wheat will make any weekend barbecue or beach time activity that much better. When visiting the California Bay Area, be sure and stop in at the 21st Amendment San Francisco Brew Pub at 563 2nd Street, just 2 blocks from Giant Stadium, and also be sure and visit their brewery tap room just across the bay in San Leandro with a massive, giant outdoor beer garden. I'm actually drinking a Hell or High Watermelon Wheat right now.
Oh, mazel.
Yeah, thinking of that. All right, Jeremy, what do you got for me?
A mural, a crane, and a relaxation spot are things you can find at EPCOT. So this is just some new stuff, some general updates, because the park's always changing. So there's not like one big announcement, but there's just a lot of little things like constantly happening over there. So let's just cover some.
Let's do it.
Last week, a tall crane appeared in the center of World Showcase Lagoon, with the last of the harmonious barges finally mercifully towed away to their inevitable destruction and doom in the maintenance marina behind the China Pavilion. A new crane appeared this week to perform work on new infrastructure for the upcoming replacement to the show that is meant to debut later this year and will honor Disney's 100th anniversary.
That's cool. I thought you meant the bird for a second.
What?
The bird, the crane.
Oh, a crane.
Crane.
There's actually a lot of cranes. Yeah. Nice. There's hundreds of cranes down there. Details on the new show have been scant, so we can only speculate what sort of infrastructure will be there. So unlike Harmonious, which we got so much concept art, we even got videos of like computer animations. We kind of knew what they were going to be building. We knew they were going to be building tacos. We didn't know that they were going to be horrific monstrosities that wouldn't get towed out every night. So we don't really know what exactly they're doing, but currently EPCOT Forever, a fireworks and lighting only show, is able to be performed using only floating fireworks barges. But work in the center of the lagoon seems to imply, in my opinion, that new barges will be making an appearance. Barges need something to be moored to when they're in show mode. They also require power for any onboard fountains or lighting. And so when they built Harmonious, they did build sort of a center mooring platform that's permanently there or like fixed there that has power that's connected to an island where there's a power substation in the middle of the lagoon that's hidden by bushes. So that's where the work is happening. So they're either dismantling that because it's not needed to power barges, or they're making changes and adjustments to it to support whatever new fixtures are coming in there.
That would make sense. I mean, far be it for me to assume that Disney wouldn't just dismantle something just because they don't have use for it now, but they would just save it for later. I mean, the barges being one, the Star Wars Galaxy Hotel or whatever is another one. Even though they're not dismantling it, they're definitely going to be gutting it. So take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I feel like you have an outlet. It's like running an outlet in your home that you don't need anymore. You're not going to cover it up, right?
Right.
You might need it for something later.
Right. Our next change is for Pride Month, which is the month of June. Disney has installed a mural celebrating Pride and World Celebration, how appropriate, next to the entrance to the Connections Cafe. The mural appeared this week and features a depiction of Spaceship Earth under the colors of the full spectrum of the LGBTQI plus community and the word love in EPCOT font. So check that out if you're interested in visiting this month.
That sounds cool.
Sounds cool. It looks cool. Because what's cool about it is like the rainbow colors sort of reflect off the metallic edges of Spaceship Earth. And actually I think that's the coolest thing about it is like Spaceship Earth sort of gets this metallic reflection, which looks kind of cool.
Awesome.
June is also the month of VIP pass holder days, which seems to be Disney Pass Holder Appreciation Month. As part of the celebration, Disney has opened a VIP pass holder only lounge in the Land Pavilion that features places to sit and relax, mobile phone charging stations, and free snacks and water. The snacks are limited to one per person, though.
I was going to say,
of course, because
free snacks. Hey, what are we going to do for dinner? Hit that lounge.
They're not giving you more than one bag of M&Ms.
Yeah.
Telling you that right now.
Fritos for lunch again, Dad? Yes, again.
The lounge will be open all month long through June 30th. Other elements of the VIP pass holder days include a new Figment pass holder magnet available while supplies last at Creation Shop.
My favorite part about our news cycles is when we talk about magnets. It's not the first time we've talked about a magnet and we both sort of realize that's how bottom of the barrel we're scraping. We're talking about a new magnet because Disney loves giving out a magnet. They love a magnet.
I am a 43-year-old man sitting on a computer on a Wednesday night talking about a new magnet. Like, I have to reevaluate. This has got to stop. I don't care. Who cares?
I don't know.
Soldier
but
through this.
People do. That's the thing, is there are people who care about it, and it's, I don't know, man.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's interesting what we do. It's interesting what we do is we talk about magnets as if it's, you know, the greatest thing. It's like, oh my God, another magnet offering.
I can't think of anything less interesting that I do than talk about a magnet.
All right, go ahead.
So that's happening. And this actually, I do think is kind of interesting. There's increased discounts this month on food and merchandise. And the Flower and Garden Festival merchandise is included in that. The AP merchandise discount for the month of June increases from 20 to 30%. And the food and beverage discount goes from 10 to 20. So that's not bad.
No, that's good. Anytime you can get over 10% anywhere.
30%. So, and by now I'm thinking, because I'm like, I know some of the things that are already discounted in the park, and I'm like, so they've got these great little wooden light up Christmas ornaments. Each one is a country of EPCOT, so you have to collect all 11.
That's awesome.
But they're like that. They're kind of like 3-dimensional. Like there's different layers to them, so you can like look inside them. They're like really cool.
Yeah.
And they're in the Germany pavilion. They're 40 off right now. So 40 plus 30, that's an incredible savings. And already some of them are gone, are out of stock. So
better get over there.
Everybody don't go, because I'm not going to be down there for a few more weeks. And
see if you can have a friend pop in there and swipe the rest of them.
I actually may have to do that.
Dude, that sounds cool, man. Sounds neat.
At Disney's Animal Kingdom, pass holders will have a special photo op, the Magic Shot, featuring Wally and Eve. Because you know what you think of when you think of Disney's Animal Kingdom? You think of 2 alien robots.
You think of robots. Well, they weren't really aliens. They were made by humans. But yes, I mean, your point is like your point is there. Animal Kingdom, you would think animals. You wouldn't think literally the opposite of a living thing, which is a robot, even if it's sentient or not.
They can't think of anything else to have also, this is a photo op? Isn't everything a photo op? There's photo ops all over the place. Now there's a new one, and it's completely out of character. Like,
Only
I
if
don't
they had
understand.
only if they had a new movie that was just released with a bunch of animals in it.
I can't think,
wonder,
like, this is like,
huh.
did they just literally take darts and say, like, throw one dart at the character wall and throw one dart at the park wall, and whatever two you hit, we're putting them together, we're doing a photo op. And it was Wall-E and Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, that's bizarre. That I truly don't understand.
Why not do a Wall-E one in front of like Mission to what is it called? Mission
Tomorrowland.
Space or Tomorrowland over into, yeah,
Right.
like what's happening?
Mission Space or whatever would be, that's the perfect place for it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing over there anyways.
Let me take a picture with one of those big blue avatars. I don't know. Anyway, these additional pass holder perks come as Disney World makes changes to, quote, improve the guest experience. Last month, the resort loosened its park reservation policy for pass holders, allowing visits to the parks after 2 p.m. without needing a reservation, with the exception of Magic Kingdom on Saturdays and Sundays when reservations are still required. And also if Mercury is in retrograde, and if like, I don't know all the, like, how many different caveats can I put in this? I'd rather they just be like, look, we're still keeping reservations.
Yeah, do it or don't do it.
I can't,
Because
do
part
it.
of the complaints about the reservation system was that it's complicated.
Yeah, well, this makes it a lot easier.
Right.
It's too much. So that's what's happening. Some updates at EPCOT and some pass holder love.
RGH is in the chat, Mr. Know-It-All, and he says the message of Wall-E is conservation, which does fit in with Animal Kingdom. They've been using Wall-E heavy in Earth Month kind of stuff.
Okay.
Is that the message of is conservation? I don't think of that movie as being a movie about conservation. But
Well, it's more, yeah, I almost think while that is a piece of the story, I think the sort of lesson of Wall-E is humanity and like what happens to us. Like, what I take away from that movie is really like how we all just get fat and don't do, like, we're just floating around on a spaceship, like eating and drinking and not exercising. And like, to me, it's more about a health. Like, you just see sort of what happens to humanity. Remember when the gravity shuts off, or like whatever, the auto chair shut off, they're all crawling around because they have no ability. They have all their muscles have atrophied.
Yeah,
because they're just sitting around drinking Slurpees all day, like watching whatever show they want. I think it's more a lesson of like, you have to get up and do stuff and create and be and do. You can't just be a consumer.
Well, you say consumer, and that was the word I was searching for while you were talking, because to me that's what it is. It's a consumerist thing where we have a throwaway economy, right? Where everyone just, oh, my TV's busted, I'll just buy another one because you can't fix them. You know what I mean? It's too expensive. You might as well just buy a new one. Everything's so cheap to buy and hard to fix. So you just throw stuff away and throw stuff away and throw stuff away, which is very funny because Disney is like one of the main culprits of just cranking crap out, just nonsense stuff. Shirts that are ugly and ornaments that are ugly and things that are bad and whatever, because they just need to pack the parks full of crap for people to buy. And so to me, that was always the juxtaposition, or at least the irony in that movie. To me, it's like, oh, you have this robot combing through landfill finding stuff. Like, you know, I know Disney does recycle some stuff, but also, do we really need this many ear hats and ear bands and stuff like that? I know people will buy them, but do we need them?
Right.
No, it's probably really bad for the environment, but whatever.
That reminds me, there used to be this in the Land Pavilion until not too long ago. There was a Lion King movie about conservation.
Yeah.
Which is a great message. Sure. But I remember sitting and watching it, and part of what they showed was like Timon and Pumbaa were, I guess, upset. It's been a while since I've seen it, but basically a swamp is getting bulldozed. And I was like, you guys have to see the irony here. We're sitting on top of what used to be a swamp. Like, are you guys really? It was almost like, I was like, is this intentional?
Yeah, it's satire. There's something, man.
Yeah, but okay, Wall-E at Animal Kingdom is about conservation. Okay. I think that seems a little bit of a stretch.
I think so too.
We'll let RGH have his thoughts.
Let's take a quick break, whatever your name is, and we're going to come right back. So hang on, everyone. It's Ears Up In Depth. We'll be right back.
In Depth, reporting Disney news that's probably not made up.
All right, welcome back, everybody. All right, Jeremy, what if I told you that Splash Mountain is officially closed down at the Disneyland Resort?
I saw a lot of on social media this week about that.
Yeah, and apparently there's been a lot of stuff going on around Splash Mountain the last couple of days. But Tuesday, which was yesterday, is the official last day of Splash Mountain. So if you haven't made it to the parks yet, you're not gonna be able to ride Splash Mountain ever again. It's gone. It's out of here.
Well, unless you go to Tokyo.
Well, unless you go to Tokyo
and survive the earthquake.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So Splash Mountain is done, and apparently there was quite a turnout for the final day, including Tony Baxter himself was there, and there's this picture of him gooning for the camera on these little tiny vials, and he's one of those I got water people. He got water from Splash Mountain, and put it in these little bottles.
All right, that's cute.
Yeah,
he's a creator of it. I feel like he should.
Yes,
that's neat.
I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, it's like he created the attraction, and he's going to say his goodbyes to it. It's it's his.
Yeah, but like for me, I don't know. Why don't you take a character? You get some water that's not even. It's just fresh out of the tap. I mean, it doesn't.
What's he gonna do? Go in and rip a character off of its?
He's Tony Baxter.
I don't know.
He could go in. Like,
I'm sure he
once
can
it's
do
done,
that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, get a log.
Disney
put a log in his room.
I'm sure Disney will probably set him up with something. Hopefully, if they're nice. But I don't have any problem with him taking a little water. It's a nod to something. It's also that's a nod to the fans. It's like you've been doing this all these years. Look at me. Like it's connecting to the fans.
Okay,
it was a thing.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. And there's a bunch of personal stories.
What's the hate for Tony Baxter all of a sudden?
There's no hate for Tony Baxter. I just think it's weird when people are like collecting water of the ride, where it's like it's not the same water. It's just I don't know. To me that's where my fandom stops. I'm not going to collect water from a thing, and I just think that here's this grown man collecting water. I think it's weird, but it's not. As
Is it
weird.
worse than two grown men sitting here talking about talking about it now? I think I think there's something with the whole putting water into an attraction. When Walt opened Small World, he had water brought in from all different rivers around the world. They did the same thing. The Fountain of Nations at EPCOT, they did like a ceremony and put water from how many countries. So I don't know. There's something with the water and it having lived in that attraction at one time. It's just a little thing.
It is. So there's a lot of like stories. This is the OC Register article. A soaking wet Allison Smith was emotional as she got off Splash Mountain, her favorite ride since she was a kid. I cried, she said. She's 33 of Covina. I was getting emotional walking through the line. As we passed the characters, I just said goodbye to all of them. I don't know. People's fandom are different. The Splash Mountain attractions at Disneyland and Walt Disney World will undergo Princess and the Frog makeovers and return in 2024, of course. Splash Mountain wait times were modest in the 30 to 60 minute range early Tuesday morning as a light rain fell on the Anaheim theme park and temperatures remained in the low 60s under May gray skies. By 2:30, the wait had grown to 3 hours.
Jeez.
Seems sort of like normal. I mean, that ride is always pretty intense. But yeah, low 60s in Disneyland in May. Come on, that's perfect weather.
It's nice weather.
At 5:45, the park stopped using the single rider line, and by 6:15, I feel like I'm reading an obituary, right? And by 6:15, the wait time ballooned to 230 minutes, or nearly 4 hours. For context, the wait for phenomenally popular Star Wars Rise of the Resistance was 95 minutes, and Space Mountain was 100. I just think it's funny that Space Mountain outpaces Star Wars Rise of the Resistance oftentimes. I think it's very funny. Splash Mountain queue stretched to the entrance of the Haunted Mansion shortly after rope drop when the park opened. Fans sprinted through the Adventureland entrance at 8 a.m. Rope drop to be the first in line to ride Splash Mountain on that last day for the attraction. Can you imagine just like being in a full-out sprint to be the first person? Early riders made it through the queue in under 20 minutes before the line stretched at 65 minutes.
I've seen Disneyland fans sprint. I don't think you'd have to. You could probably pass them with a jog.
Paid Lightning Lane skipped the line passes were still available for Splash Mountain at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, but going fast. Social media influencers offered play-by-play descriptions from the Splash Mountain logs as they recorded videos destined for YouTube. I took my final ride on Splash Mountain at Disneyland and got wet and cold. Some YouTuber. Yeah, why? Like, whatever, dude. The Garcias, people were among approximately 24 people in line around 9 a.m. to spend $3 on 3 pennies stamped with Splash Mountain themed images. And of course, many of the flattened coins were available for purchase on eBay at a sizable markup. Even John Hale of Brea, which I think John is he the dude who went to Disneyland like 1,000 years in a row or whatever? I think that's his name.
1,000 years?
Yeah. He says he has ridden Radiator Springs Racers an astounding 13,702 times. It's got to be him, right? Got in line for Splash Mountain immediately after rope drop. I wanted to ride today on closing day since I was here on opening day, he said. Yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Yeah, there you go. That's basically it.
Well,
A lot of people are sad, and they're buying merch.
There's a basketball player. What is his name? And he's a big fan of Disney.
You were like singing his
about
praises. Yeah, Gianna's the bestest.
It's I gave him. He was my winner. I think Disney's biggest winner. He was one of my awards at the end of the year in our year-end review. Oh God, what's his name? It's gonna drive me crazy.
Isn't it Giannis or something like that?
Rojo?
Yeah, Rolo.
Anyway, he and his brother. He was in the same flume as Baxter.
Oh, was he taking pics?
Oh, they're posting everything. I think his brother might also be a basketball player as well. So they were there for the final one. What the
there
hell
you go.
is that guy's name?
Oh, that guy's name is
Robin
Jeff,
Lopez. Right? Robin Lopez. That's
Robin Lopez.
Well,
that's cool.
NBA player. Yeah, so he was there, rode around with Baxter.
So apparently a couple days beforehand, a poor young lady had a panic attack before the flume, before the drop. And here's a video of it. I don't know. I mean, it's a 45-foot, banger. But it's also it's also like it's not unexpected. Like as you walk up to that ride, you see what you're in for. So
right.
I don't know what it is, but someone shot video of this poor woman, and so here it is. Basically, I don't know if this works. Why are you not working? Why you no work? Kidding me, right? You're absolutely kidding me. Oh, did someone remove the link? Did they pull the video down? Pull the video down. Nope, there it is. All right, here we go. So the boat is passing. There's the log going down.
What the hell?
What? Oh my gosh. What are you doing?
So this lady, like,
Can you do that?
this lady, this poor little girl, I don't know, she's probably 14 or whatever, just popped out and started walking out, and people were like, oh my God. And she's like waving her shit. I'm about to have a panic attack. So I don't know. It's still thrilling audiences to this day, Jeremy.
Well, okay. No, it didn't thrill her. She had to get off. She didn't experience it.
Yeah.
You know, she might have just been having a panic attack about not necessarily the drop, but just in general. Sometimes you get on those rides and it's like, oh god.
She didn't like the changes coming. She's like, I don't like swamps. I can't
Yeah.
do a theme ride for a swamp. What do you got, Jeremy? Let's go.
Disney Plus subscriber count amounts to a minus. So it doesn't rhyme, but it's a play on the plus.
Yeah, I know, I get it.
You get it?
Yeah.
Do you need me to explain that again?
Please, actually, yes, I do.
The troubles continue at over at Disney's streaming division. In the most recent earnings call closing out Disney's fiscal third quarter, CEO Bob Iger said Disney Plus lost 4 million subscribers in the first 3 months of 2023.
That's a lot.
That's on the back of a 2.5 million subscriber loss at the end of 2022. Now that's their calendar year. Well, their third quarter that's their fiscal year, but I was in the years I gave as our calendar year. Disney attributes most of this loss to cancellations in India of their Disney Plus Hotstar service. But it should be noted that the loss includes a 1% subscriber drop in the North American market. Now, 1% may not seem like a lot, but consider that equates to 300,000 users in North America in just 3 months. 100,000 users a month walking away from Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Doesn't seem like nothing. The bright spot in all this was increased revenues coming in from Hulu and ESPN Plus, together seeing a combined 600,000 subscriber increase. Disney is also currently in the process of purging content from both Disney Plus and Hulu in an effort to, quote, align with the strategic changes in our approach to content curation, said Disney's CFO, Christine McCarthy.
I hate her because that makes no sense.
I don't understand why you have, because you're not investing in new content means you have to take off content. Let it sit there.
What was her quote? What was her quote?
Align with the strategic changes in our approach to content curation.
So it sounds like she says we have to do the thing we agreed to do. Align with our current thinking, whatever, about content curation. So our content curation method is to reduce the amount. So we just have to do that. We have to align with the thing we agreed upon doing.
But I understand that you don't want to constantly be creating new all the time.
Sure, absolutely.
But why does that mean that stuff up there already has to go?
Right. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. You know, and unless you're going to bring it back in 6 months or whatever to like build the demand up for it, maybe. But it doesn't seem like the things that are going are very popular. So then there's going to be no demand if you ever bring it back. You know, it's not like they're pulling Marvel movies down.
There's some things that have been pulled down. I mean, so RJ is saying, I did hear though that the users in India were paying an equivalent of 50 cents a month. And that, while that is true, here's the thing, Disney, you can't have it both ways. Disney went on their earnings calls and touted their subscriber numbers when they were increasing, with no mention of the fact that they were getting only 50 cents per user or whatever, however, it was significantly discounted. So you can't now say that you can't say it's successful because of numbers and then say it's still successful even though you've lost them.
Right.
So I get that it was not high yield, but you can't tell me you're so great. And then when you lose them, it's like, well, we're still great. Like, okay.
We're still great, but for different reasons.
Already removed our Willow. Remember they put that up there? We were excited about that. That's gone. Yeah. Runaways, Artemis Fowl, and a remake of Cheaper by the Dozen. And those are part of 76 titles about to be removed, including documentaries on Hulu and Nat Geo. So, because Nat Geo like rolls into this whole thing. So 9/11, One Day in America, another one called Among the Stars, which is about the space program. Another one called America the Beautiful, which is a wildlife documentary narrated by Michael Jordan. Disney's Fairy Tale Weddings, Harmonious Live, getting the axe. But, like, why would that go anywhere? I mean, other than the fact that it's bad and I'm sure no one watched it, but you could have it as an option.
Right. Who's going to bring it back? That's just all I think about is that you're going to take it out to eventually bring it back. But who is going to want to watch that? Nobody. It's just going to go away and never live anywhere else ever again. That to me seems very short-sighted. Just leave everything up there. You don't have to make new content. You can reduce the amount of new content you make because clearly it's not that exciting for people. And it just sort of, I feel like they definitely overestimated how many people would really care about Disney Plus content. Yeah.
Also, Disney Fairy Tale Weddings. Oh, I said that one already. Sorry. Life Below Zero, which is a reality show. The Mighty Ducks, Locked Up Abroad. I mean, those are good shows. Life Below Zero and Locked Up Abroad are actually pretty good. So I don't know. Disney is pulling back on the development of exclusive content for Disney Plus. However, new content will continue to be delivered to Disney Plus throughout this year due to the long time it takes to invest and create that content. So there's kind of a lag, like they've stopped producing it. But the newness will still be on there. So by 2024, expect to see far less newness coming to the streaming service as Disney attempts to slim down expenses and make a profit with their streaming service. So far, the strategy toward profitability seems to be working. Disney Plus lost $659 million in the first 3 months of this calendar year.
Wow.
But that's compared to a more than $1 billion loss in the previous quarter. So trending in the right direction. The improvement is credited to Disney Plus and ESPN Plus improving on their profitability levels because Hulu, like its rival Netflix, has already been profitable for a number of years. Disney execs had previously stated Disney Plus would be profitable by next year, but there was no mention of that timeline in the Q2 earnings call. So
Sure,
it
of
doesn't
course
seem like
not.
they're sticking with that. But
No.
I suppose if they can increase profitability by 350 million every quarter, they could be on track. I don't know how much, who knows what that looks like. I don't know.
Yeah, or
Will it be 350 every quarter? Who knows?
Right. I mean, it sounds like they're increasing profitability the way Elon Musk did and just firing a bunch of people. Like, well, these salaries now aren't part of the overhead. It's fine. And also, I think that is low-hanging fruit. I doubt they would get 350 million next quarter. You know what I mean? I
agree.
feel like it's gonna get harder and harder.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Especially with subscriber numbers going down. So we'll see. That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to hear the final quarter of the year.
Yeah. It's weird because, we have that package and we watch Disney Plus for Bluey and that's it. Like I still haven't seen a handful of the new Marvel movies. Just because I don't know, when you have a kid, it's sort of hard to watch a movie. I don't know. I watch like soccer on ESPN. Hulu doesn't really have all that good of stuff going for it. It's kind of hard to find a good show. Maybe every once in a while you catch something, but for the most part, the streaming services are not very great. The content anybody is producing, is not very good. I think there's a reason Netflix is out there buying. For years, they've been buying international TV shows and dubbing them and bringing them over. And I think that worked for a bit to, buff up their things, their availability. But some of that stuff, the quality is bad, the acting is bad, the story is hard. And it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I've tried so many times, half an hour in, you're like, this is ridiculous. The way that they tell stories in different countries is different than the way we tell stories out here. Hollywood land, son.
Yeah.
And the pacing is weird. I don't like it. And anyway, so what am I saying? I don't know. We have Disney Plus, but we don't really use it. And it's sort of one of those things that I could get rid of tomorrow and only maybe sub, when soccer's back on, because I don't care about it. There's nothing on there that I need or want to see.
I just canceled Netflix.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, it's enough.
Yeah.
And I signed up for BritBox.
Oh, you would, man.
You just got to go on, churn your way through what you want to see, and then you go on to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reckoning in streaming already happening. It's been happening for a little bit, but I think it's a slow burn. And, in a couple years, it's going to be a lot more consolidation, I think. I think you're going to see a lot of companies going back to just selling their content to other people rather than having their own streaming service.
Well, I think Bob Iger even alluded to that in his last call. He also didn't he talk about something around maybe merging Hulu and Disney Plus into one.
Yes. Yeah. And when they announced it, we were like, what's going to happen? They got to merge. It doesn't make sense to have everything in 2 apps or whatever.
Yeah.
But
That'll annoy me because I like Hulu. I have Hulu. I don't have Disney Plus. I have Hulu and I literally use it primarily only for Golden Girls reruns. But as you might imagine, that's a lot of bandwidth in my house.
yeah, absolutely. Why don't you just buy them on like DVD or something? There you go.
You know what? I should. That's what I did with Netflix. I bought The Crown on DVD, and now I'm like, okay, I don't need Netflix
You don't need Netflix anymore. You save all that money.
It's true.
Speaking of saving money, Jeremy, there has been a lot of kerfuffle going on in Disneyland Paris as 1,000 or more striking workers flood the park chanting slogans. This happened on Tuesday as part of an industrial action, is what they call it, which I think is pretty, it's a cool phrase. I don't know. A trade unionist has slammed the announcement on salaries made by management at Disneyland Paris as a joke, as staff at the happiest place on earth have gone on strike. The happy images of tourists and mascots at the park were replaced on Tuesday by those of some 1,000 striking workers who flooded Disneyland's Main Street, waving union flags and chanting slogans to protest the bonuses put forward by their employers. I mean, who's going to protest money, right? Well, as a result of the industrial action, the French Confédération Générale du Travail claimed several shows and attractions at the parks experienced delays or disruptions. Many visitors showed support to those on strike, with French news website France Info reporting people giving protesters a roaring round of applause after hearing their complaints. And workers are set to go on strike again on Saturday, a move that could bring more issues to visitors at the park, which counts a total of 17,000 employees. I thought that was kind of a lot. Sylvain Caillard, a CTG trade unionist at Disneyland Paris, thinks that Disneyland Paris park management is, quote, missing the point with its latest announcement. On May 26th, the management said it would give a €125 bonus to each staff member, as well as the possibility to monetize lieu days and overtime. The officials at the park also said a pay raise of 9% had already been enforced. In response to the announcement, Mr. Caillard claimed no one has seen this 9% raise. He added, this money was already supposed to be given to us, but which is being given to us a little earlier. It's money we would have received anyway, and I guess that pissed a lot of people off. It's like, oh, you got your bonus a little bit early. Aren't we great? No, it's our money. The one-off bonus has, quote, nothing to do with what we are experiencing in terms of inflation. The announcement from management had the effect of pissing people off, is what this guy says. He added, since last week and Friday's announcement, there have been twice as many people mobilizing. A satisfactory pay offer for people who have seen pay rises below inflation for years, Mr. Caillard said, would include a €200 net pay raise for everybody. It would also include double pay for Sundays worked and a doubling of mileage allowances to be paid every day. So over there, they're striking for better working conditions, or at least better pay. Yeah. Oh, I thought this was funny. While the Secretary General of CTG Disney, Fabian Biersdorf, said at least 1,000 workers took part in the industrial action, the park's management reportedly counted 954 strikers. It sounds like such a petty thing to do. Like, I don't know, 954. Not about 950, but you want to be like specific and exact with it. And then you want that to ingratiate people to your side of things, I guess. Maybe it doesn't really matter. But there's a video of this going down, this the protest strike. And let's watch a little bit of it, because I find this stuff infinitely fascinating, because I didn't really fully understand when even when I read that they went through the park.
Oh, yes. And it's a lot of them.
Yeah. So here, well, it's 954. So, it's the entrance to Disneyland Paris. It says Disneyland Park. They got the hotel there and everything. And it's just a bunch of tourists walking around. And then it pans over and there's just a bunch of cast members. A little choppy, but it's just right there, like steps away from the hotel. Blowing whistles and waving flags.
Aladon. You gotta love that you can hear like Mary Poppins.
I didn't even pick up on that. Anyway, I don't know why my internet's being so choppy, but
Yeah, what goes on over there?
I don't know. That makes for terrible audio. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
what that's what's going on. I thought that was fascinating because I don't know that you would see that here. I don't know that I've ever seen a protest like through the esplanade of Disneyland, like that close to the entrance of the park. You know, the cast members do it on what is it, Harbor or Catella
Well,
or
I
whatever.
thought that they went into the park.
They did. Oh wait, in Paris?
Yes.
I assumed that was in the park. Maybe they didn't go. Maybe
What
yeah,
you
I
just
don't
showed
know.
is outside of the park.
Outside of the park. Okay, all right.
But I thought I saw a video where they were actually in Main Street. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, it seems Disney only just recently settled with their union in Florida, but you didn't see protests like that. They had, some protesters would be outside of the one gate, outside of property. This is quite clearly on Disney property, but in
Yeah.
France, the French, they like a protest. They've been
do.
protesting quite a bit lately because Macron has raised their retirement age or their pension age from 62 to 64. Rioted. There's garbage all over Paris. They stopped picking up, everybody went on strike. They stopped picking up the garbage. It's been quite something. So the French aren't bashful about this sort of thing.
No, and I think that's great for them because they get so much more than we do, and we're just like, oh, we can't do this anymore. Okay. Oh well, only if there was something we could do. But we don't want to talk about that. You are absolutely right. There is footage of a march down Main Street, Disneyland Paris. Let's watch. So there's the castle, and there's all the flags, and my internet sucks, so it's going to be hard to buffer, but blowing horns and just right down Main Street. Can you imagine? Like, I find that infinitely fascinating that they would do that.
Well,
And that management can't tell them not to. I don't know.
and also I think that it is surprising that they're able to get in there. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, right. With
But
all the
also-
flags.
Yeah, like how'd they do that?
You can't bring a flag
You
in
can't even get in there with an umbrella.
right.
And I also it doesn't seem to be a very good look for Disney.
No.
Whenever they're fighting with their union, it seems that that's not the best. And I was surprised. Did you say there was €125 bonus?
Yeah.
So after taxes in France, what do you get? €35? Like what goes on? Like what is that? Even
Yeah.
125 isn't really anything.
And it's a one time.
Yeah, like
It's
that's
just
not a-
here's extra money. That doesn't right. And people are like, no, this doesn't it's they want to rise or in accordance with like inflation.
yes.
Yeah. And they're just not, I don't know. Disney seems to be and we talk about this constantly on this show. At least I do. And you and I have had conversations about it too on this show too. Disney seems to be very tight with the purse strings for the amount of goodwill they generate and good vibes for other people and how much it's their happy place and it's their favorite place to go and whatever. They are stingy when it comes to sharing that profit with the people who actually are boots on the ground creating magic for people. They are just stingy with it. And
Yes.
it's wild. It's wild to me that this company just likes to do that. I don't know. They love it.
Yeah, and they can spend hundreds of $millions on Harmonious.
And how much do you think they spent on that documentary for Harmonious that will now forever never ever be shown?
Oh
Like,
my
talk about
gosh,
a
they
waste
had
of
live
money.
actors and actresses and live musicians and cameramen and all that. That was millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Brought in a stage. And no
Talk
one
about a
even
waste
wants
of
to
money,
see it.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And they
We-
launched that not that much long before they axed Harmonious.
Right. Yeah.
I guess
So,
it didn't have its intended effect.
I guess, but anyway, whatever.
They had to take it off because too many people were seeing it and deciding they didn't want to go to EPCOT.
I wish that was the case, man.
I think that's probably what it was. They were like, oh, let's not go. This looks terrible.
Yeah.
It was hurting park attendance.
That's
what
exactly what it was.
That's my theory.
I love that theory. Let's spread that rumor. Breaking rumor. Now the Harmonious is gone. Park attendance is through the roof.
That's why they took Harmonious off of Disney Plus, and today people were trying to book vacations for 2024 and they crashed the website. This is literally, I think this is all related.
I think you're right. The last story I had, which I don't really think I want to get into, is really just the opening weekend for The Little Mermaid and how
Yes.
it did great. But a lot of the reviews I read and articles I read about it, people are very meh about it. Apparently, it's
Okay.
over 2 hours. It's almost 2.5 hours long. And it's about an hour longer than the original.
Well, what the hell? And that's, from what I understand, is
you
there's really
imagine?
great scenes from the original that are cut out. Like there's like that French chef. So I was telling you before the show that I
Mhm.
downloaded the soundtrack so I could listen to it and put the songs I liked on Spectro Radio.
Yes.
And one of the greatest songs from the soundtrack is Les Poissons, which is when the chef is trying to cook Sebastian.
Yeah.
And he's singing about Les Poissons. It's such a good song. And
It
it's not
is.
in there. And then I was
Yeah.
reading reviews people were writing today, and they were like, where's the French chef? He's gone. So they took that out and they replaced it with an hour more of what?
Yeah, I don't know. There's like just from the trailer, there's like a chase scene or something where they're in a carriage with a horse racing down the beach, and it's just this whole like, I don't know, man.
Well, that
Yeah.
happens in the movie.
It does it? I don't remember. 2 hours and 15 minutes. The original was an hour and 23.
The
And-
original is tight.
Yeah, it's tight, and even it might be even too tight because it's sort of like, oh, a lot just kind of happens, but that's like cartoons, right?
Right.
And this person on CNN is like, who is this for? It's not for kids. They're not going to sit for 2 hours and 15 on anything. It's for adults, but adults haven't asked for this, and it's like it's not for either of those people. It's for the pockets because they know there's nothing good original content out there, at least that they want to push. So they rehash this. People go to see it.
People go to see it. I will see it. I'm still looking forward to seeing it because, well, actually, surprisingly, I think from what I've seen, the clips that I've seen, Melissa McCarthy looks like she's nailing Ursula.
It's interesting because there's a lot of backlash on that because they like low lit her and they didn't really let her sort of shine, and the reactions are like she seems sort of muted just even in her facial expressions.
Oh,
But I don't know. I mean, anybody can write a hate article about it, so I don't know. I'll still you know what? I'm not going to see it. I don't care. I don't care about the Little Mermaid story. The original was fine. I don't really care. I don't have any nostalgic ties to it. I'm not going to see the remake because I don't frankly care about it. Alice saw
me-
the trailer and she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, wow!" And then we were watching Great British Bake Off, and there's a young black lady on there with long braids, and she goes, "Oh, she looks like the new Ariel." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I thought that was neat. So maybe she'll see it. I don't know. I think it's dark, but I guarantee you, she will not be able to finish it because she doesn't have that attention span. She's 5 years old. She will not be
You
sitting there
do.
watching that movie. She'll go and play and she'll leave and whatever. Like, that's why Bluey episodes are like 8 minutes long. That's all they need to be. That's it. So she can crank out 4 or 5 of those and she thinks she's watched 12 hours of TV.
I was excited to hear the new version of Under the Sea, and then I was really let down by it. I thought
You were excited. You were looking forward to new arrangements.
I was looking forward to new arrangements,
Yeah.
and I love a new orchestration. I always like to hear a different version. And to me, Under the Sea is such a big showstopper that's so full. Like it should be full. It should be, and what's great about the original is it really worked in the orchestra, but also a lot of different instruments that you wouldn't find in an orchestra to make a really unique full sound. And it's a showstopper. And then the orchestration in this one feels really light and thin. And I'm just kind of like not moved by that song. On the flip side, I thought Part of Your World was beautiful. And I actually thought the
okay.
orchestration worked really well for it. But also that's bit more of a soft, soothing sound. So you don't necessarily want to feel that in your gut. You just sort of want to hear lovely, nice music. And actually, I think they did a really good job with that. Someone in the chat's asking about a new song that's written specifically for this movie called Scuttlebutt, I think. It's absolutely unlistenable, nails on a chalkboard. Like with what they do in any of these, the original songs are fine because they're written well and they sort of carry themselves. Whenever they write new original music for any of these, Mary Poppins on Broadway or Mary Poppins Returns, all the new original music is terrible. By the way, guess who writes all of this new original music? Lin-Manuel Miranda. So we have a common denominator here. He didn't work on Mary Poppins on Broadway, but he did do the horror show that was Mary Poppins Returns, which is just absolutely 2 hours of unlistenable music that makes you want to gouge your ears out with melon ballers. And then there's one song on this that stands out as terrible, and I'm pretty sure he's who wrote it.
I think you're right. I think I heard something like that.
So, but overall, I think it is pleasing. There's a new steel drum version of, I think, Kiss the Girl, and that sounds really great. So,
all right. Well,
bit of a mixed bag, but overall kind of a letdown. But I am looking forward to see the movie, and I'm really looking forward to Melissa McCarthy. I'm not a big Melissa McCarthy fan. I think, and I'll shut up after this. We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
But when Little Mermaid went to Broadway, my biggest disappointment with that was the portrayal of Ursula. The singer for Ursula could have been the singer for Ariel. And Ursula, originally portrayed by the voice of Pat Carroll, was this really big, deep voice with that great laugh and a lot of character and a lot of gravitas. And when you listen to the soundtrack of the soundtrack to Little Mermaid on Broadway, it's so jarring to hear the whiny high voice of someone singing the Ursula parts. It just doesn't make any sense. She sounds like a pipsqueak. It's so strange. And you're like, this person couldn't overtake this person. And so Melissa McCarthy does, I think, what's almost impossible, which is to kind of recreate the Pat Carroll feeling.
Nice. Good. Yeah, I don't really know anything about her. So I'm glad there are positive parts about it, but for the most part, I think, and there's a lot of positive representation talk, and a lot of kids see themselves on the screen now, and I think all that's great. All the vibes are cool, but it just, by what I'm reading, it wasn't done very well, which of course it's never going to be. I mean, it's never going to be.
It
really
can be done. Cinderella is better than the original.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it helps that Cinderella was what, 1950 something. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like storytelling back then sucked anyways.
Yeah, but Pinocchio, the new Pinocchio is not better than the original. Like most of these originals.
I forgot about that. I forgot about how many originals there are, or remakes that there've been.
Right.
Anyway, that's it.
I don't think the age of it matters. I think it's just.
I mean, I think the age of it matters for just how stories created, because storytelling now is different than it was in the 30s and 40s, even in the 80s. You watch a movie from the 80s, it's boring. 20 minutes, nothing.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, a lot of movies from the 80s can be boring because the story doesn't progress fast enough.
You're right. I have tried to watch Star Wars.
We're gonna get out of here before you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through the internet. I'm gonna reach through the internet, and I'm gonna wind up in Jeremy's place, and I'm gonna shave his head while he's sleeping. That's what I'm gonna do for that comment. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you in the parks.